do Boots and Fondora.
Really, not Vergil?
Because Fondora got the belts.
Okay.
So it's a unification.
Yeah.
And I enjoy Fondora just as much as I enjoy watching Ortiz. You know what I mean? Like, they both great action-packed fighters. But Fondora and Boots will make it a undisputed.
Oh, he gonna cook Ortiz. Oh. He gonna cook Ortiz just like he just got done cooking Zayed.
Who is the tougher opponent, do you think, for you, Fondora or Vergil?
I can't really say. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say, you know, but some people might say, or some people gonna try to say it's Fondora because he's tall, but I love fighting tall people, so it don't really, you know, don't matter to me. You know, I ain't gonna lie. The more like I said, the more I step up, the more, you know, the higher the fight is, the bigger the fight is, the easier the fight's gonna get for me.
Boots looks like he's supposed to beat Sebastian Fundora because he's so fast, because he's so electric, because he's shown tremendous power, because he's shown so many different movements and techniques, and everything jumps off the screen when it's Boots Ennis. But then when you got, like I always like to say, another weapon standing across from you, negating some of the things you do, forcing you to turn off some of the stuff you do. Now here's the thing that makes this guy dangerous to Boots. What I feel I know about Boots, I don't know if they game plan.
Jaron Boots Ennis looks toward the biggest fights at 154. Two names stand out, Sebastian Fundora and Vergil Ortiz Jr. With Fondora holding the belts, the boxing world sees that matchup as the bigger prize.
Junior middleweight division, guys, is a great, fun division, but I don't see anyone there other than potentially Boots, who I'm like, that guy is different. That's one of the best pound for pound. I see a lot of evenly matched action fighters.
Yes.
But like Fundora right now is sky high because he beat a very old Keith Thurman. Because before that, he was knocked out flat on his back in his division, same division, by Mendoza, who's a middle rate, you know, he's an okay fighter. He followed that up. He was losing to Tim Tszyu before the headbutt changed the fight. Or the elbow changed the fight, the cut changed the fight. He got better in the Tszyu rematch. I give it to him. He looked very good against Thurman, but...
Tim Bradley is sending a serious warning to Sebastian Fundora ahead of a potential clash with Boots Ennis. Bradley expects Boots to keep the combinations coming with speed and power, making it nearly impossible for Fundora to simply tie him up and survive.
Boy, when you fight Boots, oh, you ain't up against no dinosaur meat, but you up against one of the athletic, strongest dudes at 147 from 147 to 154 pounds, man. For real. Yeah, you in there with a real one, dog, for real. Heat gonna be coming all night long. He can match his output, all of that, man. You tie him the hell up, boy, damn. But yeah, you ain't gonna be able to do that with Boots, man. Boots gonna let them hands fly, man, from where they are. He ain't gonna fall in on your ass either. He gonna throw them combinations, boy. Them mugs gonna be fast and hard, bro. You gonna think he on that shit. Well, after the fight, you gonna think he on that shit for sure.
Meanwhile, Boots Ennis isn't overly concerned about the challenge Sebastian Fundora presents, making it clear he expects that fight to happen eventually. He sees Fundora as a tall pressure fighter, but says he hasn't studied him closely enough yet to break down his style in detail.
At 154, ultimately, you and Fondora have to cross paths?
I feel like everybody gotta come to me regardless through this weight division. Like I said before, I'm the cash cow of this division. If anybody want to fight, they're going to make the most money fighting me than anybody else. So I feel like I'm the cash cow of this division, and I'm the best of this division.
What do you think of Fondora's style? It's very unique.
I mean, I don't know. Like, he's just tall. He's tall. Like I said, I don't watch him, so I can't really sit here and like explain. Like when the time comes, I'll watch him. But as of right now, from this little stuff that I be seeing, it's like he's just a tall pressure fighter. From the stuff that I be seeing.
Adding to that, Chris Algieri also sees Sebastian Fundora as the final boss for Boots Ennis at junior middleweight. He points to Fondora's size, length, and improving discipline, noting that he's learned to use his physical advantages without taking the same risks he once did.
Fondora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better.
He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. Vergil, the inactivity really worries me because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on any given night.
With a unification and multiple belts on the line, Sergio Mora believes Boots Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora has everything needed to become one of boxing's biggest fights. He also says that the money and location shouldn't be an issue for this fight to happen, so now it's simply up to everyone involved to make the matchup happen.
These guys are on the cusp of making a lot of money in one of the biggest fights of the year, and it'll be a unification. So the belts are on the line. So then look, if the stars aligned and the promoters really want to make this fight happen and everyone involved from the managers, then make the fight happen. The money's there. And it will be one of the biggest fights in boxing. Yeah. Well, normally it's the money that holds things up. Second, it's the location. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Vegas.
That's a West Coast fight.
Vegas.
I know, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a West Coast fight. Las Vegas, 100%. You'll get the money and you get the attention. You get the hardcore rabid fans. So what's the problem now? The money's taken care of. The location's taken care of. We have enough time. I agree with you. Make the fight happen.
Sharing his thoughts on this potential matchup, Greg Hackett believes Sebastian Fundora as a tougher challenge for Boots Ennis than Vergil Ortiz Jr. He points to Fondora's rare combination of size, southpaw stance, and 6'6" frame, making him nearly impossible to replicate in training. For Hackett, that physical disadvantage makes Fundora the more difficult matchup.
He has some with him, but I don't think he's the toughest one. I think Fondora is the toughest just because it's an uphill battle, no matter what. I know, no matter how you look at it. See, you can find guys that box a little bit like Josh Kelly. You can find guys Josh Kelly size. It's going to be tough finding guys Fondora size. It's going to be tough finding guys that are sitting the inside that's 6'6".
In the southpaw.
Right. Yeah, in the southpaw. So, yeah. And I'm just talking about preparation for any fighter, not just for Boots. I'm just saying for any fighter. It's tough to find those type of guys that mimic, a Fondora. But you can find plenty of Josh Kelly type of work.
For Robert Garcia, Sebastian Fundora presents a particularly difficult matchup for Jaron Boots Ennis. He feels Fondora's awkward style can make even good fighters look uncomfortable, while the unified champion has continued improving since capturing his title. Garcia adds that the best way to disrupt Fundora may be with a fighter who can bring relentless pressure.
I think it's tough, man. Fondora has a style that it's not going to make you look good. I would say I favor Fondora on that one, man. It's a fight that's not going to be easy for Boots because styles make fights, and Fondora lately, since he became champion, he's getting better and better and better. There ain't nothing stopping Fondora right now. I think the only thing that could stop Fondora is a pressure fighter that's not gonna give up and he's gonna keep coming, working the body, and just kind of bullying Fondora into a fight, pressuring him into a tough fight. I think that's the style that might hurt Fondora. But
when it comes to a potential Boots Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora showdown, Paulie Malignaggi sees Sebastian Fundora as the kind of opponent who can make any fighter look uncomfortable. With his unusual height, power, and awkward style, Fundora presents a completely different challenge, even for a fighter like Boots Ennis. And with both men continuing to improve, Malignaggi says, this is a genuinely tough fight to pick.
Make sure that Ennis stays consistently looking really great so that he can move on into the picture with Fondora, possibly. And Fondora, of course, is a very difficult guy to deal with. Listen, Fondora is going to be difficult to deal with for anybody. And so Ennis and Fondora, I really, really would get excited for Ennis and Fondora. That's a really good fight. And for me, that's not an easy fight for either of them. That's a tough fight to call, man. I don't know. I would love to know what some of the comments think at home. And don't be biased about just because one guy you like one guy over the other. I'm talking about seriously, from a boxing perspective. Ennis and Fondora. Listen, Fondora is an awkward fight for anybody because of the height and the power that he's got at that weight. But really, to break it down, it would be interesting and It's a really weird, strange fight to try to figure out who has the advantage there. You know, because Ennis is streaking, but Fondora also seems like he's getting better and more difficult to deal with as well.
Meanwhile, Breadman Edwards sees Sebastian Fundora as a unique challenge for Boots Ennis, especially because of his extraordinary height, reach, and variety of punches. He says Fondora's size makes the matchup difficult to prepare for, forcing Boots to get inside and physically impose himself. For Edwards, the real challenge will be deciding which game plan gives Boots the best chance of dealing with such an awkward and dangerous opponent.
Like a tall southpaw is like 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1". Fondora is 6'6" in boxing shoes. Where do you find that at? With a jab, with an uppercut, with a hook. He's mean, he's battle tested, great conditioning, and he's improving in front of our eyes. With Fondora, the game plan is a little bit easier because he's so tall. He got to just, you know what I mean? He got to dog him. He gonna have to dog him. And believe it or not, Hines, sometimes the more difficult fight is the fight where you have to pick which game plan to execute.
When it comes to the toughest challenge for Boots at 154, Danny Garcia also points to Sebastian Fundora over Vergil Ortiz Jr. He respects Ortiz as a dangerous, battle-tested fighter who can make any opponent work, but Fundora presents a completely different problem. At 6'7" with his southpaw stance and massive physical advantages, Garcia feels Fondora's size alone makes him a nightmare matchup for Boots.
At 154? Fondora. Yes. Vergil is that's Boots' style. He likes when people come to him. You know, you can use all his tricks. It's not gonna be nothing. He don't have to figure nothing out. It's gonna be right in front of him. But Ortiz is a warrior, so he gonna be like Xander. He gonna fight to the end. You know, Danny. But Fondora gives anybody problems. Just because he's 6'7", 154 pounds, southpaw.
According to Gary Russell, the biggest problem for Boots Ennis against Sebastian Fundora could be the kind of fight Fundora forces him to fight. Gary Russell believes Boots would have to chase a much taller opponent instead of controlling the action from his usual range. That would demand a completely different level of versatility, with Boots needing to attack, defend, and slip punches all at the same time.
Fondora. Hands down. Fondora. Hands down. Hands down. He would have to punch up for one. For two, Boots, he really have to go chase his man down. It's always like they either the same height, the styles make it where as though they just like in the center pocket, middle of the ring, and they just going like skill for skill. You know what I mean? With this 7'8" tall guy, he like 7'8". He's not about to stand there. He might, you know, but Boots is really going to have to show a different side of his ability. He's going to have to walk forward. He's going to have to move his head a lot more, not just be defensive discipline, but he's going to have to work in between. He's going to have to be defensive and offensively equally as good.
Looking at what Fondora brings to the table, Jason AM sees a major challenge waiting for Boots Ennis. The massive height and reach difference could make this a fascinating clash of styles, but he warns that Boots can't afford any lapse in concentration. Against a fighter as big as Fondora, even one mistake could put him in serious trouble.
Hell, if he gonna go for Fondora or whoever made the call, I'm all for it. I'm all for the best fighting the best. People say Fondora is one of the best at 154. For some reason, they got your boy at number one at 154 when he hasn't got a belt there, you know, but it is what it is with Vergil being number one at 154, I think according to Ring Magazine, whatever. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. The styles makes fight is big, as we see in this matchup here. Fondora's what, 6'7"? Got what, a 90,000 reach, something like that. So I mean, this will be a big test, a biggest test for Boots of his career, of course, if he were to fight Fondora. All that focus, lack of focus, that bet not happen here. He gonna be sleep.
Looking ahead at the potential matchup between Boots and Fondora, Bernie the Boxer gives Boots Ennis the nod, despite respecting what Fondora brings to the table. He feels Fondora's somewhat predictable style could leave openings for a fast and athletic fighter like Boots to exploit. In fact, Benny says if the Spence fight isn't available, he'd want Boots to take a tune-up before going straight into a showdown with Fondora.
But listen, I'm thinking this, as much as I like Fondora, I'm thinking Boots should get him. I'm thinking if, you know, because Fondora more like, he kind of robotic, you know? And if you got a guy that can flash in on you and can move with athleticism, they can throw him up, I think Boots, that'd be perfect for him. You know, I think they've been moving him a little cautious, but I'm thinking he got it to do it. I'm looking for Boots to do it. I be looking for Boots. If I'm Boots, if I don't get the Xander Zayas fight, I want him next. Give me a tune-up, then give me Fondora next.
The moment Zab Judah heard that Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora were actually in negotiations for a unification fight, he couldn't hide his excitement at this potential matchup between Boots and Fondora happening this year. Judah celebrated the news, saying he had been calling for this matchup and joking that the boxing world finally heard. For Zab, this is exactly the kind of fight he wanted to see at 154.
Boots and Fondora are in talks for unification, and within November or December, the ring, Mike Carpenter.
Wait, saying who?
That they're in negotiations.
Boots, oh yeah, Boots and Fondora. Oh yeah. Come on, I spoke that into existence. Mills, they hear us. Mike Carpenter, shout out to my guy, Mike Carpenter. That's my guy right there. He's a great phenom out of boxing, been around for a long time. He knows boxing. He knows what he's saying. And Mike, thank you for hearing me. And you know what I'm saying, putting that together, or whoever put it together. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the whole team over there. Kellerman, all them guys. Carpenter. That's a great team over there, man. Shout out to those guys.
Marcos Villegas breaks down why Sebastian Fundora could be a nightmare matchup for Boots Ennis. He feels Fondora's size, reach, and relentless pressure will allow him to walk Boots down and force him into exchanges, while Boots can use his movement and pot shot from the outside. Ultimately, the physical punishment and pressure could make this a very difficult fight for Boots.
And that's what I feel he's going to do to each and every one of these guys, because he's so much bigger. He's just going to go move forward, walk people down, touch, do, put punches together. What are these guys going to do? You know, like, you can only move so much until you start getting tagged. Man, what a nightmare matchup Fundora is. You know, Boots, going back on that, Boots is going to use his movement. He's going to have a hard time establishing that jab because of that reach advantage that Fundora has. He's going to try to pot shot him, move in and out, but that's the thing. How long can he keep that up for? And how is he going to respond when Fundora starts teeing off on him and landing these punches? You know, when punches land on you, regardless of how hard you train for a fight, like, getting punched hurts you. Like,
sharing his prediction, Arms Corleone is picking Boots Ennis to stop Sebastian Fundora late, somewhere between the 8th and 10th rounds. He acknowledges Fondora's size and experience, but feels Boots has the speed, power, and technical ability to exploit the openings in Fondora's game. With Fondora having already been stopped by a less complete fighter, Corleone sees Boots' undefeated record and sharper skill set as major advantages.
Boots versus Fondora, who you got? Boots, points, stoppage, late round stoppage between the 8th and 10th. I don't think he's gonna see the 12. It's gonna be too much for him. What is it? You said who? I said, what's the deciding factor? Because everybody's looking at the length of Sebastian Fundora. That's cool, but he just started using his length for real. You feel what I'm saying? The most I can give Fondora, he battle tested, he went through wars and shit. That's another thing that plays in Boots' favor. He already went through wars. And we've seen somebody who's nowhere near as technical as Boots or hit as hard as him or fast as him, put Fondora to sleep. So Boots ain't never been asleep. So, you know, it's interesting though, because the boy is 6'6". I get it, but that shit don't mean nothing, bro. He stopped.
Boots Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora could be the fight that changes everything at 154. Two dangerous champions, a massive size difference, and multiple belts on the line. But when these two finally collide, who walks out as the true king of the division?